I like how Ouellette runs with purpose. He has some speed and strength, which simple arm tackles will likely not suffice. Look at him just rambling down there and touchdown! I like to think of the Roughriders as a good team because I think there's a lot of potential there on defense, especially. But I'm just not impressed with the Matador like wins I see from them. I do like their talent level on both sides of the ball. I will point to Trevor Harris slowly improving despite the pick being a good indicator. It's just a good indicator that the team still has room to grow in terms of being a potential power this season. Technically, the record and the standings would tell you that they are a power. They just aren't there yet, in my opinion. I was worried about Ouellette's injury, but he seems to be available for week 3. It was a head injury specifically. So basically, if you get hit in the head and it's a concussion or whatever it was, you can still run and you can still play. I know it's kind of barbaric, but it is what it is. Okay, there are the team just has more depth potentially in the future, just because so many people are injured, which leads me to think that once there's more depth on this roster, maybe they'll come into form then, into the form that I expect of them as a first time viewer of the CFL. Anyways, Bo Levi Mitchell has not wowed me enough to sing his praises the way that the broadcasters do. However, he is improving, granted slower than Harris is for the Riders. Their run game was statistically effective in this game, and maybe that will be a basis to improve upon to boost the passing side of things for Bo Levi Mitchell. There were less than 9 rush attempts in this game, which ought to tell you that it's basically serving as a change-up pitch rather than a feature of the offense. So there's such a thing as a draw play, such a thing as a halfback counter. Those are all change-ups for teams that run the ball half the time or part of the time, but a good amount of the time. But when you don't run the ball and you're leaning on Bo Levi Mitchell to throw 40, 45 passes a day, then it's sort of a built-in trick play in the sense you're not looking for the run, and the run's so wide open you may as well just take it 9 times out of the game, if that makes sense to you. It's almost sort of how a sort of like a run fake pass, PA pass. You see that you're threatening to hand off the ball, but you're actually going over the top and hitting them for a touchdown. This is a changeup similar to that because you just don't run the ball a lot. Let's move across this rant and just focus on getting to the next clip for you guys. The Ticats have improved from the prior week, and they have time to get into form, although less time than the Riders, who eke out these soft wins, if we're being quite honest. And this is what I'm talking about. He is leading the receiver, but he needed to pass that ball sooner. I don't like it. As you see him return, and he's down. I make a point of considering targeting and focusing on these 4 is not exemplary, but it's good enough for Trevor Harris. So we will not nitpick that point. I'd love to see there being 5 or 6, but you can only get so much. Doing some quick math prior to the video, he has an above 70% accuracy, and that is what we like to see from Trevor. Ouellette is such a key piece to this offensive picture that it may be worth using him more sparingly in week 3 as a precaution. Those numbers don't lie. It was sub 100 yards, but that's effectively 100 yards, which is meritorious in this department. In terms of a rush attack, like if you were to add everything up across ball carriers, I want to see at least 70 yards across all my ball carriers. But when one guy gets over 100, it just makes everybody's life easier, including Trevor Harris. I was going to call him Trevor Mitchell. Isn't that embarrassing? Anyways, the defense put the pressure on, and a football defense is a synergistic sort of animal. The pressure they put on Mitchell leads to pass deflections and picks being easier. I want to see this defense improve. They are getting there, though, seemingly. Now, That man is not the Keyshawn Johnson of the NFL, but has such tremendous hands and runs routes well. So good on you, Keyshawn. As we go on to the next clip. However, you'll see that there's very little pressure here as he just, look, he should have been able to handle that pressure as he picks it off to the Roughriders. Oh, that was just so painful to watch it live. And it's going, and he's touchdown. Besides that performance there, I'd say the output from Bo Levi Mitchell was average. I know you are looking at Greg Bell and may tell me that this is enough, but consider this. Just consider that Bell and the other rushers only ran the ball 9 times altogether. Consider then that the Roughriders could soundly formulate a plan which involves, well, hey, let's see if you can run the ball effectively. But until you do, we will attack the passer and play in a strong defensive shell for when that ball does get thrown by your elite passer. It is not necessarily as easy as calling it a Bo Levi Mitchell problem, although he does have some fault. It's a philosophical and capability problem involving the run game. Although the image does not show it, I think they hit Harris a couple of times on defense, and you do like to see that as a tie cat. Bo Levi Mitchell spread the ball around, and despite it being a negative outcome and an average day for him, I think he will improve. So that's some good news there. Now, this is what I'm talking about with Bo Levi Mitchell showing some potential here. Is he's got the strength. He didn't lead him, but look at that touchdown. Wasn't that nice? Usually, this is the most informative slide I have, but it was basically going to be a reiteration of what I've said. I like the run attack by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and I think the Ticats need to run the ball more effectively. See, 51 yards and attempted 9 times. The average was 5.7, but what matters there is that the only reason it was 5.7 was because it was only ran 9 times as a changeup. You can get into penalties, you can get into all sorts of things, but my opinion, and despite there being more pass yards, sure, is that Trevor Harris just has a much more functional offense to operate on than Bo Levi Mitchell. And even though there's 336 to 295, just disregard the amount of yards and consider the amount of times he passed is pretty similar. But what you have to look at is the balance enabled there being second down conversions. It enabled there being more scoring opportunities. Despite the Ticats being great in the red zone, despite them being able to go for 2, despite them being more or less on equal grounds with the Roughriders throughout the game, just all they have to do is they have to trade for, they need to get a free agent, they need to focus on that run attack, and I think the Ticats will be ready to smack. You see, Harris is good at hitting his target. He's not good at leading his target, and this is just more proof in the pudding, even though it's a good catch. I might seem antagonistic towards the Roughriders, but it's my belief that the Roughriders can be a very good team this season. It is my belief that Trevor Harris will likely improve. I want to see him lead his receivers more so that they can run with the ball. Now, it was mostly his receiver that was able to catch the ball right there and then go with it. And just as an aside, that wasn't a 2-point conversion I saw. I got up for a few minutes of that game and then came back. And it looked like a 2-point conversion because I thought that last clip was a touchdown. It was just called out of bounds for the Ticats in that clip, the clip prior to the one I just showed you with Trevor Harris there. And on the Ticat side of things, this might not be their season, but oh my gosh, they have potential. If they can just make a transaction where they get more of a running attack, whether it's the rushers or whether it's the linemen themselves, I think that the Tiger Cats could be a potential contender down the stretch. And I saw a lot of great improvement, but this might not be their season if that's not the case. but they just have so much potential, and I do like their potential too. And anyways, bye for now, and in Quebecois, bye for now.